Never seen a lame man walk, never heard a dumb man talk, never seen a blind man see. I promise you will change his name. Never seen a canceled death, never seen all the poor get fed, never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you will change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you will change his name. Never seen the sick get healed. Never seen a mystery.
Pork belly.
Good. Whatever time it is in the day you're listening to this podcast world, this is Bigger T. And as always, I'm joined with my man, Big C. What's up, Clint?
What is up, my dude? What is up, my dude?
How you doing, man?
Man, wonderful as always. Just been a great week. Man, just enjoying life.
We're recording. Let's just let everybody know we're recording this a little bit early. I got called out of the bring in the righty. I'm called out of the bullpen. There's a local church camp that their speaker came down with COVID, and they asked me to come in, and so I'm going to be speaking to a bunch of 4th through 6th graders this week. Clint,
who better?
You got any advice?
Yeah, just keep your head on a swivel.
Okay, gotcha.
I tell you, I had Austin all this week. I've got a 10-year-old son.
Yeah.
And I was sitting back in the recliner, and I was like, you know what's nice? Being able to relax without a 10-year-old just wanting to fight me.
Yeah.
He just loves fighting. He just runs up and slaps me on the belly with red belly.
I figure that's all I'll get. You know, I'm kind of like I figure I'll be kind of like that crazy uncle that just comes in,
right,
hands the kids a bunch of chocolate and some Red Bull, riles them up real quick, and then sends them off to their camp chaperone in the dorm.
You know, funny story. Where I used to work at the movie theater in High Point, North Carolina. Friends stopped by and see me, and I gave their young daughter a courtesy cup full of Volt. Gave it to her.
You were their new best friend.
Like she woke up like at 2 a.m. and wouldn't go back to sleep. They were unhappy with me for a minute.
Yeah, I bet. But hey, you got a giggle out of it.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
All right, man. Well, hey, we got some stuff to talk about this week. We want to cover and look at, and the first thing we got to do is, Clint, we got to talk about our Holy Shnikes moment.
Wow.
What is your Holy Shnikes moment? And I think you're reaching way in the Wayback Machine.
No, I mean, I went back over 100 years, but it's new to me. It's like, you know, you have all these major disasters and you've at least heard of them.
Yeah.
You know, like whatever. Like okay, I'm somewhat familiar with this. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm sure it was horrible.
Yeah.
The Great Molasses Flood of 1919 in Boston. It is like it killed, and I don't want to joke about it because people died. You know,
yeah,
of all ages from 78 to I believe 10. Basically, a thing burst and 13,000 tons of molasses. Just you never expect it to be your last day. You never wake up thinking this is it.
You never do.
This is it. You get up to the pearly gates and you're like, you know, you're looking around, you know, kind of in the line waiting on St. Peter to say, hey, yeah, you're in, or no, you're out. Yeah. And it's like, how did you die? I'm like, well, I got hit by a bus. I drowned in molasses.
I was fresh out of pancakes. What can I say?
I mean, just walking home, and you're like,
and once again, it's so tough. First of all, I found it humorous that you're now 45 years old and you're just now hearing.
I'm just now hearing about this.
However, it is one of those events in history that you just gotta sort of you gotta laugh. Like I'm the type of person that I tend to laugh at the wrong time sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And I like that about myself at times. But it is sad that people died.
It is.
But
it is.
Get out of the way. The molasses is
Like they said, the street smelled for decades like molasses.
I mean, you got look, I'm slow, Clint.
Yeah.
But am I slow as molasses?
See, there's so much you don't know.
I don't want to find out. I don't want to
Was
find
it
out.
hot? Was it
Oh,
warm molasses? Had it been heated up?
Well, that's true. It would be a lot faster.
A little quicker.
That's true. It could have been. It could have been a vat of warm molasses.
A lot of horses died. A lot of horses.
Man.
Flies getting stuck in it. It couldn't have smelled good.
But some pancakes and some sausage links, though.
Yeah, I made a new barbecue sauce, and it was Memphis, and I had to go buy molasses, and it don't come out very quick. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's right.
2 tablespoons of molasses.
All right. We should stop laughing about that.
Yeah,
to the people that passed away in that RIP. I guess.
I think enough times passed we can joke about it.
That's right.
But still, we feel bad. But it's just weird that I've just now heard about this major disaster.
And apparently Clint does live under a rock.
I had no idea.
But here's the truth, Clint. Here's the truth. There are people that's watching this and listening to this. They've never heard of it either.
No.
I guarantee you.
No, because I'm a cesspool of useless information.
More than likely, I heard about it because it was used as some sermon illustration idea.
Yeah.
Because that's where I hear about crazy stuff like that, right? You know, be careful. Sin moves slow, but it's going to engulf you. Right there, I can preach that. Right there.
Right there.
That's a sermon.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's right. You preachers out there, go ahead. Take it, run with it. Lives will be changed.
Just mentor your boys.
That's right. That's right. Where did you get that from? Big C and bigger T. Anyway, all right, here's mine. You ready for this?
Yours is a lot better.
Clint, my Holy Snikes moment. You know me. I'm not a big UFC guy. Right?
You're not.
I don't dislike it, but I don't keep up with it. Okay, like I would sit down and watch a fight, or I'll every now and then if it's on, I won't pay for pay-per-view, but if it's on TV, or I'll listen to the highlights or things like that. I keep up with who's out there and everything. And one guy that I've, of course, listened to about is Conor McGregor, right? And it's hard not to hear about Conor McGregor unless, once again, you're hiding out under your rock, because the guy he's a trash talker.
He's a good one, too.
Okay? And I appreciate a good trash talker. One of my favorite athletes ever is Muhammad Ali. The man hands can't hit, what the eyes can't see, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. Okay, I mean, I'm a trash talking, a guy that can go and that can back it up, right? Or even a guy that just really believes in his trash talk, even like a Mike Tyson, who everybody knows has gone nuts and gone off the deep end. He still sticks to, I'm going to eat your children, okay? Like, he's, But Conor McGregor at the end of the match last night, sitting with a broken leg or ankle or whatever it was.
It looked horrific.
But which, by the way, took him 3.5 hours of surgery today to fix. Okay. Joe Rogan is sitting down next to him. And unless you've been in a cave, you've seen the memes today. I think
I shared one on my Facebook page.
Yeah, you shared one of explaining to your toddler why they're in timeout or whatever.
Yeah.
He's sitting there on the canvas or whatever in the octagon, and he's still saying to the guy who just beat him, who's celebrating across the octagon. Your wife's in my DMs. Your wife's in my DMs. Really? You just got beat. Your legs cracked. You're still talking like,
yeah.
And you're bringing his wife into this? Like, really? Like that is one dedicated.
No one
trash
plays
talker.
the mind games like McGregor, but he was even. But yeah, we had the gym over to watch the fight last night. A lot of guys from the gym, and man, it's funny because the last 3 gatherings that we've had, the first one was Chris Weidman broke his leg, and it was horrific, and I couldn't watch it. I was curled like this, and just watching everybody's reaction to going, oh. Then the one after that, it was a lesser known fighter, but his elbow got dislocated.
Yeah, that was the one you talked about on the podcast.
Yeah, it was just flopping around. It did this one. So the last 3 major UFC pay-per-views, I've seen a horrific injury. You know what was not horrific though at the UFC?
What's that?
Wheat Sue's dirt cake.
Oh,
Yeah, that has become.
Oh,
Mama Sue's dirt cake has become like a thing that we got to have at all the UFCs.
Mama Sue can make some dirt cake.
Yeah. For all of you that think your mom or somebody you know makes the best dirt cake, you're wrong.
Well, explain what a dirt cake is.
I want them to go look it up, but no, it is a ice creamy, Oreo-y, just pudding.
Goodness.
This I don't know how to describe it. It's just delicious.
Yeah. Your first wedding, the one she made for you, was like a wrestling.
No, that
ring,
was.
wasn't it?
I've been married twice, y'all. I'm not scared to admit it. I've been married twice. I had 2 groom's cake, and both of them were a dirt cake that my mom made. So I can't.
You did like a wrestling ring one.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I think I may have done that twice.
Well, that makes any get together
classic.
much better. Much better.
I think my favorite was a wrestling thing that I've done was the time that I went to Memphis. It was me, my ex-wife, Matt, and then Jumbo and his now wife. So he's like, I'm going to propose to her. And we're like, oh, cool. And he's like, yeah, as soon as Stone Cold's music hits, I'm going to drop down on one knee. And we're like, oh, okay. Stone Cold's music hits, and everybody's like, whoa, Stone Cold. This is in the height of the Austin era.
Yeah.
Where like, and so Monica's not even paying attention to Jumbo. and he finally, she goes, oh, gets visited. So he proposed to her. And, hey, you know what? Whether you like it or not, them 2 crazy kids are still married.
That's
so
right.
more power to them.
That is class personified right there.
At the Pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee.
Jumbo's a good
Bass Pro Shop. Yeah,
that's right. Jumbo's a good guy, but that's him to the T though. That's
that is him
stuff.
to the T. And
yeah.
So he's like, it's like it was them. But yeah, no, it was crazy. The trash talk, but it was McGregor was looking really good. His boxing was looking really crisp. He tried to go for a guillotine, tried to use jiu-jitsu against somebody that was just better than him at that game.
Yeah.
And he ate some punches to the face. He finally worked his way back up, but they were boxing again. And he had stepped back. And Poirier was saying he had checked the kick and he's sure he'd already heard it. And just when he stepped like that, it just finally broke, which is probably what happened. I have not went back and watched any breakdown of the fights, but yeah, that is a dedication to trash talk. But, it struck me, the type of trash talker, or grandparents tell you about the type of trash talker that Muhammad Ali is.
Yeah.
So now you're looking at Conor McGregor or generation. People will call him the modern day Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
The way he talks trash. And the thing about it is we were looking at the card and we're like, this is kind of a weak card. It wasn't like they didn't do a lot of title fights or anything like that. They had 2 or 3 big names on the card. Greg Hardy was on it.
people still paid for it.
They pay for it because Conor McGregor's on the card. It don't matter who he's fighting.
And really, his record as of recently has not been that great.
No, he's won one fight since Barack Obama left office. I mean, that's what they were telling.
Yeah.
It just
that's the difference with the people like Ali, because Ali, he had his struggles, but he backed it up most of the time.
Yeah,
he had his multiple fights deal with Frazier, and some others, but he won a lot of those. And it's interesting. You hear also about, the story recently about Larry Bird, trash talking during the Dream Team practices. The story came out. One of the guys was the Dream Team got beat by a college all-star team,
right,
with Jamal Mashburn and them. And Jamal Mashburn said, he said something to Bird about, this ain't 86 or something like that. And said the next time they played, it wasn't like an official game. It was a scrimmage game.
Right.
And they told him to turn off the scoreboard, and Magic kept feeding Bird, and Bird destroyed him. And he said, anyway, it was classic. But and thinking about that, and thinking about McGregor and what we're seeing with him and all that, Clint. And I watched the match the other day with, we could talk about that later, but talked about Brady and I was just listening to some of his stats. And then Aaron Rodgers, they played that golf match. If you don't watch those are very entertaining television, by the way. But anyway, and then like Phil Mickelson was there also, and then DeChambeau he's a young guy, but DeChambeau they were in like Montana and 75,000 feet above sea level. They were crushing the freaking ball. But anyway, I started thinking about that, Clint. I started thinking about, and I heard someone talking about this kind of subject on the radio the other day too. The people that we're watching in sports right now, and maybe we've watched over the last few years of our life, but mainly the people we're watching right now. In the future, when we're sitting down and talking to young kids, to grandkids or whatever, which of these people are we going to be talking about? Because you think about it, we're watching some. Yeah. Well, just think about the first example, just the obvious one. Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah.
7 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Been to 10. Like, he's doing things that we're never going to see. And the thing is, he's not a, to me, if I was picking out a quarterback, I'd pick out Aaron Rodgers before him. If you're just picking out a guy by looks and watching him on the practice field. Now you put him in a game, then I'm going to pick Brady.
Even now, you take Tom Brady in his prime, the best year, 32-year-old Tom Brady, the Tom Brady that had Wes Welker, and you put him in the underwear Olympics, as people call the NFL draft. He's not going to wow you.
No.
He doesn't have Manning's measurables. He just doesn't. He just wins. And I mean, when we were teenagers, we were 13. Our parents dressed us goofy. We witnessed Joe Namath, not Joe Namath,
Joe Montana. Yeah.
I won sports trivia, y'all.
Yeah, that's right. And he beat me.
So, but we talked about how great Joe Montana was, and we saw him. Joe Montana left the Niners and went to another team. Joe Montana never won a Super Bowl. He never won another Super Bowl. I mean, no, but Tom Brady did, and he's 43 going on 44, and he's still.
And by the way, Clint, the Buccaneers lost nobody.
Yeah,
off that team. They're returning everybody, and they have the weakest schedule in the NFL next year.
Yeah,
because their division has gotten weaker because, maybe a guy named Drew Brees retired. So I like their chances against the Saints a lot better 2 times a year. Okay, so now, but here's the thing. But what we're seeing with him, but even go past him, we're watching things happen with Patrick Mahomes.
Oh,
he's doing things with a football and with his arm we've never seen, Clint. And he may not ever win another Super Bowl, but we're still never gonna. We may never see someone do the things he's doing.
And here's the insane part of both these guys is Patrick Mahomes went 10th in the draft. 10th.
Yeah.
If you did, I had the number 1 pick in one of our fantasy football leagues last year, and it was against conventional wisdom, but I took Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if you basically did a fantasy draft and you had the number 1 pick, you're doing like a Madden thing, you get to build your team. A lot of people are going to pick Patrick Mahomes first. He'd be the first one gone.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady was in the 6th round. Every team could have drafted him multiple times. And I can't remember how many quarterbacks were picked above him. Tom Brady knows, and he can list every single one of them.
Oh, yeah.
I know one of them was Surgeon Wynn. Surgeon Wynn did not quite have the career. And Tom Brady can sit there. You ask him to list them, but he'll list them in numerical order.
Yeah.
Where they drafted. That's,
on that show, The Match, there was a great interview. I don't know if you saw it. They have earpieces in the whole time, and they're talking to the commentators, Charles Barkley and them. And Charles Barkley had played in the previous one. And so Charles Barkley said, Tom, he said, man, the last time we did one of these, he said, I was amazed by you because you had went and played before we did the match, before he went and competed in golf. He had played 18 holes. And then when Charles got to the golf course, just showing up for the day, Brady was in the parking lot running wind sprints in the parking lot. And then he went out and played on national TV golf that night. And that's how dedicated Brady is to his craft. And they asked him, Charles said, what's that about? Why do you do? And Brady gave you need to go look it up, but he gave a great answer, something like, kids need to find what they're good at and really emphasize that. He said, it may be sports, it may be something else, but really be dedicated to that thing. Just find what you're good at and just work hard at it. It was very inspirational. But anyway, we see him, and like in football, we're seeing some people like we could even talk about like a Derrick Henry. He's 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds, and he's runs like all over fast, he's speedy, he runs through people, runs away from them. I mean, we haven't seen a guy do what he's doing on the field. That's one we don't really talk about as much. I don't think because he's in Nashville, he doesn't get the publicity.
Right. Even a guy like Myles Garrett.
Yes.
I mean, there's not he has no measurables. Nobody does.
Yeah.
I remember at Arkansas Tech, we had got new shoulder pads. They came and had some of us get measured, some of us offensive linemen, and they happened to be hanging out, so they let me come. So, and the guy that was measuring me goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, I was just measuring Javon Kirsch yesterday. And I was like, oh. So the talent level.
He looked just like this, didn't he?
Yeah. The talent level between them 2 days took a dramatic decrease. I'm working on self-deprecation, but I'm not on Javon Kirsch's level.
Yeah. If you don't know who Javon Kirsch was, he was a beast.
His nickname, I believe, was the Freak.
Yeah. He was.
And So, but Myles Garrett, I mean, what does he run, like a 4.4, 4.3, plays defensive end?
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, what do you do?
And,
I mean,
And there's other guys. I mean, there's other guys like,
Yeah.
I was listening to the radio this morning on the way to church, and LeVar Arrington was on.
Yeah.
You remember him in college? I mean,
Oh yeah, Penn State
jumping over defensive linemen and offensive linemen to tackle the quarterback. You know, but we've seen some amazing players, but not just in football. We're kind of talking football.
Oh
here.
yeah.
But Clint, right now, I would argue we're seeing something in baseball that we've never seen before. Clint, we've never seen it before. Ohani, that plays for the Angels, made the All-Star team as a hitter and as a pitcher. Where does that come from? I mean, like we had heard about this guy, right? A couple years ago, coming from Japan. We're thinking he's going to try to pitch and no, he's going to try to be a starting pitcher and a fielder. No way. He's never, that won't last. They'll use him in the bullpen sometimes, and it'll just be to get people to the ballpark. He'll be be
like a marketing tool. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a marketing guy. He'll do something that's a little bit different. No. He's way different. And really in baseball, like we're not seeing those stud guys right now in baseball. We're not necessarily baseball experts, but no one's gonna say Mike Trout's, compare him to Babe Ruth or Ty Cobb or somebody like that. We're not gonna have those arguments necessarily. But Ohani, man, he's leading the league. Isn't he leading the league in home runs, something like that? He's
like 37. I mean, like he's on a great. And the Cardinals several years ago had Rick Ankiel, who they actually used when he was in the minors as the DH some, and he was a starting pitcher. And then he got a bad case of I don't know if you remember, he got a bad case of the yips and just couldn't throw anymore.
Yeah.
He just, that happened to me. Not to that degree in softball. I'd lost ability to judge a fly ball in the outfield. Can't explain why. Just one day I just couldn't do it anymore. And one day it just came back. It was the weirdest thing ever. Yeah. Like somebody put me in the outfield and I was too scared to say, hey, I can't judge a fly ball. And so then they hit a couple at me and I called him. But it was just crazy. So what they did was they took him and they moved him to the outfield, and he had worked his way up to the majors once as a pitcher and then once as an outfielder.
Yeah. And that was impressive.
It's not this. I mean, this is just something that's the closest thing I can think of that we've seen in our lifetime to this.
Yeah.
I mean, even John Olerud, they named an award for John Olerud. He was that good of a pitcher and hitter in college.
Yeah.
But even they wouldn't, and I don't know if we'll ever see it. I don't think we'll ever see it from an American player because even this kid from Nebraska, who was their A starting shortstop, some major league team is going to get him in their system. They're going to draft him and say, look, kid, we didn't draft you to play short. We drafted you to pitch.
Yeah.
And they're going to basically, you're not practicing this anymore. You're going to practice this, or vice versa, where he went over Japan, did the Japan system, and they were willing to let him do something unconventional. And I don't think we'll ever see this again unless it's from another foreign player.
Well, and what he had to do is he had to go to a team like the Angels.
Yeah.
Because they were going to let him try that. I think if he would have tried to go on to the Yankees, St. Louis, Boston, the Braves, a big market, bigger market team with a lot more tradition. I think I don't think pretty much a team that's going to hire Joe Madden as their manager, they're going to let a guy try some new things, right? And that's what they're doing with him. They're letting him try some different things, and it's worked out, and it has. Now it may open the door for some more people. Okay. Yeah. And so we may be sitting there in 30 years saying, hey, we remember when Ohani first started doing this. He was the we
Right.
may be talking about a guy then that's doing it. Well, Hani was the first one. He was this guy that came over from Japan. You know what I mean? To change sports again, and we can talk about any of the other sports if you want to bring somebody up, but let's look at basketball. What we're seeing.
Yeah.
You and I grew up on Jordan, right?
Right.
But we're also willing to say we've also seen something extremely special in LeBron. Okay?
Oh no, and I was thinking LeBron, because you look at what LeBron did. He's won an NBA championship with 3 different teams.
Yeah.
3 completely different teams. He went to Miami and formed the super team, which they made it work.
Yeah.
You get those many egos on a team, it could easily blow up. I mean, there was a lot of talent. Yeah, they had more talent than everybody else.
Yeah.
And then to go back to Cleveland and say, you know what, I'm going home, and then to go home and bring them a championship. Now, LeBron's done some dumb things, the decision, look,
but we're just talking sports here, okay?
Yeah. So we're just talking
sports. And then you can't argue. LeBron came. What I always liked about LeBron is he came into the league playing as a team player, unlike any other kid came into the league, especially at 18 years old. I mean, his Jordan's assist stats. Jordan didn't get assist stats until later on in his career, and that's when he figured out how to win championships. Was when he was all of a sudden he was getting some assists and some rebounding. LeBron came in assisting and rebounding from the get-go. LeBron making it to the NBA Finals with that first Cleveland team he made it to the finals with may have been the single most. I'll put it this way. Name somebody off that Cleveland team that he made it to the finals with the first time.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, nobody can. There was a big white center. I can't remember his name. That was it. I mean, that was it. I mean, it was seriously, there was nobody. But not just LeBron. Here in the, NBA hasn't been the big out front thing here recently, but Steph Curry and what we saw happen in Golden State has changed basketball. Like, they've literally changed the way basketball is played. Now, some can argue it's for the worse, but Steph Curry had a great year this year. If he would have been if his team would have won more games, he would have been up for the MVP even more so than, he was already talked about for it.
And something else crazy that we've witnessed in our lifetime, and that we should be talking about, is tennis. Serena Williams.
Oh yeah.
What she does. I mean, she is the all-time Grand Slam winner.
Yeah.
23. And the story is amazing. It is, 2 young girls trained by their father growing up in Compton, California.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have said, okay, the greatest tennis player ever is going to be a young African-American lady from Compton.
Yeah.
You'd be like, you're crazy. Your
if
job's going to drug test you. You're going to get fired.
If you would have said that when her dad was all of a sudden becoming a tennis fan at the, in those Jim McEnroe, days, Martina Navratilova, in those days where, that's where he became such a fan of tennis, to be training his daughters to be playing at such a young age. You're right. That's something that's Serena and her sister and the
when they team up, they're the hardest out in the doubles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they still do it as much, but back when they were younger, they would win the doubles at Wimbledon every year.
Well, and they quit focusing on that. They started out doing that, and they quit focusing on that so that they could both work on their individual game a little more.
You do feel bad for Venus, though. She's kind of like the Marty Jannetty of the Williams sisters.
Yeah.
I mean, but no, she's way better than Marginetti. I'm not trying to, because I don't know how many Grand Slams but she's had, and it came down. I mean, Richard Williams, I believe, is the dad's name. He said, "My two daughters are going to play in the final Wimbledon," and they did. I mean, it's the Williams sisters. They had to go out there and say, "Look, let's."
Of course, this is definitely not a sport I'm into, but that much. But just what we saw with in NASCAR in our recent lifetime with Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. Those guys just tore up NASCAR and won, at unbelievable rates. Of course, Jimmy Johnson was, about as much of a media darling as this picture behind me on my wall. I mean, he was that interesting of a guy, but he could race and he kept winning. I mean, I just would watch NASCAR from afar. And that guy just kept putting up the stats. And there may be others in NASCAR that I'm not thinking about because I don't pay attention to it. But, going back to basketball, we're seeing things also with like the Greek Freak, Giannis, a 7-footer who's able to do the things that he does. I mean, regularly called a unicorn because he.
Right.
He's just a magical creature that you just had to dream up,
And I hate to tell y'all this, and for all you American basketball fan elitists, the rest of the world's caught up with us.
Yeah.
I mean, they have. I mean, they've I think we got beat by, was it Nigeria?
Nigeria, yeah.
Nigeria
weekend.
beat us. They beat us. Of course, I think maybe a lot of more guys maybe are still like coming down, but they did.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they beat a team whose best player was Paul Pierce. This team had Kevin Durant on it.
Yeah. Which Kevin Durant's another one. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but that's a 7-footer.
Yeah.
Who plays like a point guard, who dribbles outside, shoots. Another guy that I'm amazed at, like I would never pick him for my team, is Russell Westbrook. The stats that he puts up, he's putting them up at numbers we're never going to see again, probably. Yeah. And that guy's like 6'4", and he's just he's a bigger, stronger version of Allen Iverson, except Allen Iverson was a little better team player.
And what's really cool is this year for the NBA Finals, I know a lot of our fans don't care about basketball, but you're going to have a team that's never won the championship win it.
Yeah.
During the offseason, if you casually keep up like the NBA like I do, like when we wrap up this podcast, I'm going to go finish watching Game 3, but I'm not one that's going to sit down in the middle of, the season and watch the Memphis Grizzlies play the Utah Jazz. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
But I'll watch the finals and the playoffs and stuff because I'm interested. Yeah. Who goes where, whenever Chris Paul went to the Phoenix Suns, everybody thought, oh, this move is just an insignificant move. It's just Paul Pierce trying to hang on for another paycheck. He should retire.
Yeah.
And dude's 2 wins away from his first championship.
Yeah.
Probably if it ended today, the league MVP, who would have seen that coming?
Yeah. And you got to kind of root for a guy like him because
it's hard. It's hard because I want to see because Bobby Portis is on the Bucks.
Yeah.
And he's playing significant minutes. But
when you hear some of those Suns players talk about the difference he's made, that center for them, I forget his name. He's a young center that he said that Chris Paul will have forever impacted how he plays basketball. He said not just this year. He said he's had a forever impact on my life. Now, and that brings me up to let's finish with this question. We're kind of getting low on time here. We're living in the good old days here. We're living in some good times. But to be honest with you, Clint, now is the time of this year where there's really not much sports to watch on TV. for guys like you and me, our go-to
Right.
is some baseball game or some, there's a few baseball games that we'll end up on, but usually we'll end up on some random football game, some basketball game, whatever. There's not a lot to watch right now.
There's
okay.
not.
So what I want to know is, and we'll ask each other this as we go through this summer a little bit. What are you watching right now? What are the things that Clint is taking in?
Well, because I make that balling money now, the podcast world money. I didn't want to wait for Black Widow to come out on Disney Plus. So I did pay the $30 for early access.
Yeah.
And watched it. It was fantastic. Very, very, very well done. They used it to set up Hawkeye. They're going to do a Hawkeye series that I'm really looking forward to. The movie's great, and I'm not going to do any spoilers. At the very beginning of the movie, they're playing a song, and I'll turn them off. I'm like, what is that song? Like you know it, you should know it, but it's stripped down really slow. And I don't know who did it. I haven't researched it, but they did a stripped down version of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. And it is
wow.
It is very well done. And it is just, it's great. I loved it. But I mean,
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, you don't hear it every day. And it was wow. I mean, it was really good. Been watching that. I did watch Smokey and the Bandit the other day.
There you go.
And then I went and read the trivia on that, and I'm getting into a rambling story here, but I read the trivia because I'm watching the movie on IMDb, and I'm watching Burt Reynolds and Jackie Gleason. That's one of the greatest performances of all time.
Yeah.
Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
That's a good podcast show later on. Historic performances that don't get enough credit.
Yeah.
It was actually Jackie Gleason's idea to put Junior in the car with him.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't be in there by myself. Give me someone to play off of.
Yeah.
And that most of his lines were ad-libbed. And my favorite line of the movie is, first thing I'm going to do when I get home is I'm going to punch your mama square in the mouth. No way you were from my Lord. And by the way, if anybody knows of any streaming service that has Cannonball Run, the first one, let me know. I want to watch it.
Okay.
I just want to watch it.
Amazon doesn't have it?
Nobody has it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just like, I could buy it, but what's the point of having 50 freaking streaming services if you can't find Cannonball Run?
That's right.
No, you did go to the theater and watch Fast 9 though.
I did go and watch Fast 9. It was amazing as always. Han is back. Space is involved. What more can you ask for out of the Fast and Furious people?
The memes have been fantastic. I'm going to keep posting them every time I see them just to make fun of you.
Yeah. Hey, John, I was impressed with how they used John Cena. I was kind of worried about that. I mean, they just keep plugging in all these big name people. I was kind of growing weary of The Rock in it.
Right.
But there's a great little, if you watch it, just to throw this out there at the end, there's a great little illustration. I'm going to get preachy here for a second about prayer. It's a little golden nugget. Just see if you can find that golden nugget when you watch it. Anyway, but also
only you could turn this Fast Nine Furious into a biblical discussion.
Look, God has spoken to me through Rocky 5. Of all the Rocky movies, God's going to speak to you through. He speaks to me through the worst one.
That's because Satan made that movie.
That's right.
The devil himself.
He spoke to me through The Apostle with which it kind of makes sense. It's about a preacher. But Robert Duvall, you seen that?
I have not seen
It's
that.
a good movie. It's a real good movie. It's got Billy Bob Thornton, Robert Duvall. he's spoken to me through I don't know. There's a couple others that are just random movies that you're. The Stand by Stephen King, a 6-hour miniseries. Yeah,
Haven't
that
seen
one.
it.
Anyway, yeah, you probably don't need to watch it. It's anyway. But no, I've been watching. What I've been watching is, I of course watch Fast 9, and I don't blame you on watching the Black Widow at your home because
No.
you think about it. To go to the theater for you and your family, you're going to spend more than $30. So that makes a lot of sense.
And if you think about what Disney's done is genius. And I'll chase this rabbit, and I'll let you get to it. Because basically, I paid $30, $29. And what they basically says, look, we're going to put this on Disney Plus anyway, but we'll let you watch it early on Disney Plus for $30.
Yeah.
And so you can sit there, and I basically can watch the movie anytime I want. Now, if I get rid of Disney Plus, I lose
you won't
that.
have it
Now, and you're still going to get your DVD collectors who want all the extra features and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's. I mean, I think
all my DVDs are in a box now.
Right. I think we're to a point you're going to see a lot of the model where they're going to do both. It's going to be blended. They're going to do theaters and that. But I'm sorry, that's me on my soapbox. You go ahead.
Well, the other thing that I'm watching right now is I love the show Alone. Have you ever watched Alone?
I have not.
It's a reality like survival show. Okay. But this is the survival show of all survival shows. They put these people out in this time they're up in like Canada, Alaska area around this lake, and they put them. They're by themselves. They have a satellite phone and another little deal where they can just push a button, and the safety people will come and get them. They're literally in an area. They're all like seeing grizzly bears, like at their camp. They like gave them bear spray on this year's. Okay, they've done several seasons of these. They're able there's 10 people, each one's able to take 10 things with them. Okay, but like those 10 things are like a sleeping bag. They can take a saw, a hatchet, or an axe. They can take a bow and arrow, but it's got to be like a recurve or straight bow. It can't be like a real nice compound bow, but I mean, there's like a guy killed a deer on it the other night, so, but they got to provide their own food, everything.
Can you take a cooler full of Lunchables?
No.
Oh, well, I'm out.
You can take one food item, but the food item has to be like a certain amount of, like, they will let you take a certain amount of chocolate, like they weigh it out or whatever. There's this protein type mix of granola. It's like a granola, but it's like these people that do all this survival stuff take it. Anyway, these people go out, they have to build this one because of the bears. They're building, I love watching what kind of like little shelters they build. Okay. Because usually one of their objects they bring is a tarp. So, they'll use that for the roof of whatever they build. But like some of these are building some awesome, like little houses. They'll make like because they have to because of the bears.
Now,
and then like this,
go ahead.
This guy's killing a deer. You think, oh, good, he's got all this meat. Well, then you got to keep the meat away from the bears. And you don't want the meat to draw the bears to your camp.
You also don't want it to spoil. You kill the deer. There's a lot. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, if you drop me, they put me, you, Robert, and Wesley in the ship.
Yeah.
Okay, us four.
Yeah.
Which one of us, and I'll answer this question, which one of us is out first?
You.
100%. 110%. I don't even know if I'd make it through the first night. I'd be like, as Southern as this voice is, I don't hunt, I don't fish.
Yeah.
I don't do anything. I'm not going to go out and pick berries.
Yeah.
Pretty much the only thing I got going for me is this mouth right here.
You're too impatient to fish.
And I'm too impatient. Okay, so who goes out next? Because I'm surprised with who I think is going to win. Who's out next?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Robert.
See, I actually think Robert would win.
You do?
I do. I think he's the perfect. He had the perfect hunter fisherman. I think Wesley would probably be out next, and you would go second. But
I think Wesley's so hard headed.
Yeah.
Now Wesley may go out. The thing is, the people that make it on their best, like they seriously, and this is kind of not a joke, they are the people with a little fat on them.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, well, all four of us.
I mean, I can make it for
you could
years.
be out there for. But I think we could 100% agree. If nothing else, all four of us, we agree. I would definitely be out
That's
first.
right.
I mean,
right.
there's like you're describing that show. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna do this? I'm like, no, I'm not.
The guy who won it last year, Clint, and you get like $500,000.
Yeah,
and these are all people that do this that live like they already live off the land anyway.
Yeah,
they'll just have a few amenities, But this guy who won it killed a muskox with a pocket knife. Like this muskox, which is like a big version of a hog. Okay, so it's bigger than a hog, but smaller than a buffalo. Okay, it looks more like a buffalo, but it's size of like a real huge hog. And he shot at it with his bow and arrow, and he didn't kill it, so he just ran by and stabbed it with his knife, ran back, and then came up and stabbed it again and killed it. And by the way, they have to film all this themselves. They give them cameras. They train them beforehand how to film all this, and they take like batteries with them, and then the people will come and do medical checks on them every week or two, and then they'll bring them back newly charged batteries and stuff like that, so that but they teach them how to film. They give them like GoPros and then other regular cameras to set up. Anyway, it's a wonderful show. If you like survival type of stuff, it's the best one out there because it's the most real. And they always do it in cold environments. It's always in real cold places. There's a guy named Jordan that won it a few years ago. He killed a moose and a wildebeest, and he still was getting close to getting tapped out because of there wasn't enough fat in the moose. It was such a lean meat. He was still losing weight because he was already a skinny guy. And so he still had like 400 pounds of meat left when he left. Like that he didn't eat or something.
I would do terrible because I eat dead animals freak me out. I mean, but I'm happy that I'm happy that you're learning how to live off the land. If the if the apocalypse happens, I'm screwed.
That's
I'm screwed. I'd have to suck up to my friends that can live off the land.
Clint's gonna sit at the drive-thru at Taco Bell. Please.
It'd be like that episode of South Park where the AARP comes in and the kids win the war by locking the door to the country kitchen buffet.
That's right. Yeah.
I'd be like,
well,
oh man,
Clint, it was a fun one, man. It's always good. I'd say this one was definitely two best friends just talking right here.
Man. Yeah, that's what it is.
But it was fun. It was good, and had a good time. I'm going to go off to Beach Springs Camp and hang out with a bunch of kiddos this week. I'm excited about that, and I hope you have a good week doing the things that you do.
I'm going to do
them. Don't forget about our boy Robert Branscombe at Hometown Roofing. Also, as always, got to say a big thank you to Sean Michelle.
Definitely, Sean Michelle. I love the intro music.
You
talked at one point about changing them up and doing that. I'm like, no, that is our music. I've come Yeah, that's it from here on out.
That's right.
Well, are we 7? No, we're 18 this week.
That's right. We're 18.
Officially an adult. Officially an adult.
Man, we'll be. Yes, we are.
Yeah. I don't.
You can't
don't
tell me
need
what
you
to
anymore,
do,
Mom and Dad.
You can't tell me what to do, Mom and Dad. I'm 18.
But keep paying our car insurance.
I'm an adult. That's right. Yeah, I need you to pay. We need you to pay that till we're 25.
There you go.
That's when it goes down in price. So we'll stay there.
We'll take it over.
Yeah, man. So happy 18th to us.
Yeah.
Don't please remember to like, share, comment. We need people to hear about this. Okay, so tell them about this show. That's how more people listen, and that's how more people find out. And we need you. We need you to like, share, review it on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review, and tell people about how much excitement you have by listening to us brilliant people. Right? Okay. All right. Well, Clint, have a good week, brother. God bless you, man. And
God bless you.
We out.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come.